Terrificon, Connecticut's biggest Comic-Con, returns to Mohegan Sun, August 9th to the 11th. Meet Billy D. Williams, Val Kilmer, Doctor Who's John Barrowman, and the voices from Animaniacs and Thundercats. New England's largest guest list of comic book artists from DC and Marvel Comics is at Terrificon on August 9th to the 11th at Mohegan Sun. Tickets on sale now at Terrificon.com.
Hey everybody, this is Dino
and Michelle,
and we want to talk to you about our podcast. Guys, would you please? We're trying to record a promo here for our podcast.
A podcast about horror movies and video games.
A podcast about family and friends.
Yes, that's exactly what we're trying to do.
Maybe we'll put a little bit of faith in there too.
And being decent to each other.
Sounds good to me.
Hey Nico, what should we call it?
Podcast.
On the Farsighted Network.
Hey there, this is John from Pint Comics.
And I'm Lloyd, also from Pint Comics.
And I'm the other John, and you get it by now. As you may know, we sometimes use language on this show that can be described as...
Filthy.
Okay.
Reprehensible?
Crude?
Sure.
Nasty.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, guys. We all know that it's just plain out gutter talk.
You've been warned. Listen in.
You came for Pint of Comics. You've arrived at Scary Larry's House of Universal Horrors.
You've committed assault, this what you've done, and you can come along to the station with me. Come along now, come quietly, unless you want me to put the handcuffs on.
Stop where you are. You don't know what you're doing.
I know what I'm doing, all right. Come on.
Get hold of him.
Lock him up.
All right, you fools. You've brought it on yourselves.
Oh! All over myself. Yay. It's another Pint of Comics. And as you heard, it is. This was just a fridge beer. I just grabbed a fridge beer. I had no time to grab beer. This is a In the Flesh American Sour Ale brewed with real guava.
In the flesh,
In
baby.
the flesh, baby.
Thunderlips is here.
Wow.
The ultimate male versus the ultimate meatball.
Wow. Someone's been watching Rocky 3
It's a
lately.
good Floyd song, too.
Yeah.
Is that a Pink Floyd song?
In the Flesh? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. No. Yes,
great.
it is. Yes, it is. So, Scary Larry's House of Universal Horrors. Take 4. This is part 4.
In the Flesh.
In the Flesh.
Baby.
Pint of Comics here with you. Pint of Comics consists of the Manster, Sir John, and me, Johnny Ganache, and of course, Scary Larry Dwyer.
Hey.
I feel like I haven't been here in a while.
We haven't recorded in over a month.
At least, yeah.
That was 1 month. It was right before Memorial Day. Our last
guys-
episode we recorded from this point was the Pint Invitational with Chad.
Wow. Yeah,
Everybody wants
Chad
some.
Davis?
Everybody wants some.
Yeah, Chad Davis. Yeah.
That's the sequel, right? Or not sequel, but like
Sort of sequel.
Sort of sequel.
To
to
Dazed and
Dazed and
Confused.
Okay.
Highly recommended.
I've never saw it.
Watch it and then listen to our show.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Some
That's the way
shameless
to do
plugging.
these things. Watch it first.
Yeah, but no, you know what? I think Larry. I think knowing you, I think you're going to go. I enjoyed that.
I really enjoyed Dazed and Confused.
Yeah,
you like this one.
I think you'll like this one.
I think you'll like this
Okay.
one. Yeah, early '80s
Lots
college
of music.
and
I
lots
love
of
music.
yes,
Love music.
great soundtrack.
Yeah.
But we're gonna.
Any Dire Straits?
Yes.
Was there Dire
Was there?
Straits?
There was Dire Straits.
Yes, I love Dire Straits.
Which scene?
Hand in hand.
Good.
Oh, yeah, okay.
The
Yeah,
river
yeah.
scene, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. You're right. Look at that.
Sweet.
Look at that.
Sweet.
All right. So we're here to talk about a movie that's maybe 50 years before 1980.
Maybe.
We're here to talk about 1933's The Invisible Man. Larry's got his
There
little
he
pop
is.
vinyl.
I love the glasses on that thing.
Yeah.
The glasses.
The
So
side-
steampunk.
Yeah, those
So
glasses.
steampunk.
We'll get into
Yeah.
that. Those glasses were something else.
They're awesome.
Something else.
The movie was something else.
The movie was something else. So let's go over a little bit of history here. So
Pre-code.
Pre-code for the Universal House of Horrors. Larry's been chilling with us. We've been talking all about Universal monster movies. So we already did Dracula, we did Frankenstein, and we did The Mummy. And here we are now talking about the fourth in line, The Invisible Man. Let's see. There's so much to talk about in this movie. Now, this is actually take two because I think about 4 weeks ago, we were supposed to talk about this movie, and I had an issue, and I couldn't record that night.
1.5.
So this is 1.5.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that
1.24.
it has kind of changed my view on the movie because I watched it a month ago. I fell asleep halfway through, so the next day before we recorded, I watched it again, and then I realized there was no way I could speak to it fully in fullness. So I watched it again last night. So I've seen this movie 3 times in about 3 weeks' time.
Same here.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's reverse for
I
me,
did
the
not.
other movie.
I did not get to rewatch.
Okay.
I meant to rewatch them both this week, but it got away from me.
No,
I
you're
just had
busy.
a really busy.
You're a busy guy, and that's a lot to ask.
I didn't rewatch this one either, so
yeah,
I
I
didn't
meant
have
to
time.
do it, and then I actually had to shoot a movie.
Ooh.
I had to shoot some scenes in a movie the other night, which was the night I was going to rewatch these. So we can't talk about that.
Can't talk about the movie?
No, that was just a little tease.
Can you tell us after?
You got popcorn in here?
Yeah, you're already got your.
I could probably, if there's popcorn, I might tell you.
Larry, per usual, has his 2 accoutrements. Well, 3. He's got his 4. We're gonna go 4.
Okay.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
got-
yeah.
he's got
What
his-
is this, the Spanish Inquisition?
I know what one of them is.
He's got his monster shirt.
Well, then 5.
Okay, the monster shirt is The Bride of Frankenstein, which we'll be talking about later this evening.
5 accoutrements.
He has his pop vinyl of The Invisible Man in his pajamas, because he requires pajamas, Kemp, and his little beaker of Monocaine. That's right.
Yep.
And his awesome sunglasses. He has his sweat rag. Because, yes, we know in Pint Comics world in the summertime it gets a little warm in here. And he also has his fucking 19-gallon bucket of popcorn. It's a giant bag of Bachman's. What am I missing here?
And he's got his Pepsi.
Pepsi 1.
Yeah,
no,
what's
Pepsi,
up?
Pepsi Zero sugar.
I was going to say, usually it's Coke Zero.
They were out of Coke Zero, but
Do you hate? I mean, I haven't drank.
no, I don't hate it.
See, I hate
it's
Pepsi.
different.
I hate
Oh no,
the
see when
fucking
I
taste of
when I
Pepsi.
drank real soda, I drank Pepsi.
Really?
I did. So did Cindy Crawford. So
Real soda.
So fuck you, okay?
You don't go for the RC Cola.
I used to. We had that in my high school.
Yeah.
Our soda machines were RC.
Yep.
And me and my friend Nora broke them open and stole all the soda and sold it. That's a tale for another day.
Our soda machines at Middletown High in Middletown, Connecticut, were very fine fruit juices. Remember those
Yeah, I
white
do.
cans and
Very fine.
yeah,
Wow.
and fruit punch was my jam. Fruit
I don't
punch was my
remember
jam.
soda machines in my high school.
Well,
That was a long time ago.
that was a long time ago.
It was a dime, wasn't it?
Right.
You guys still
You guys had a soda.
No,
You had a
telephone
soda
calls
jerk.
were a dime.
you still got daily fluoride shots back then. So
No, we had a milkman. We really did.
stop. You got to stop.
They had a
At-
soda
at
jerk
school?
making
Yeah.
egg creams
Yeah.
for everybody.
I bet Johnson had a milkman.
We did when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, but Johnson lives in Portland, Connecticut, where they still have milkmen.
Oh, we had a little crate on our front step.
That was
and a
Guidus
milkman
Farms
would
from
come.
Middletown.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Oh,
Good thing I put the lid on.
Jesus. Ginger ale everywhere. All right, so
Right all over my artwork.
yeah, really, don't screw up the pint stuff here. Okay, so the Invisible Man, much like Frankenstein, directed by James Whale.
Yeah, back.
He's
Another
back
whale.
again.
Back in the fold.
Another one. We don't even have to mention this, but produced by, of course, our friend Carl Laemmle. At the beginning of the movie,
Junior.
Junior, yes. Yeah, his father is the president, as it says in the credits. In the beginning of the movie, I had to look this up earlier, and I didn't write it down, so I'm going to, maybe Lou could look it up for me. It said that it was, like, presented by the NRA. Did you see that credit? NRA. And I'm like, what the fuck?
I don't recall that.
And it's not the National Rifle Association.
I wouldn't think
National
so.
Recording Artist?
Lou, can you look that up,
New
Lou?
Republican
What-
Army.
Something along those lines. What the NRA in the Universal movies stood for. So you get that credit. I was very confused. I'm like, what did the NRA have to do with this fucking thing? But it was not that NRA. This was released on November 13th. That's a special day in the Pint world.
On what year? 1933?
1933. So you were 6 years old.
That was... Stop it now.
That was Lloyd's 6th birthday.
That was 33 years before my birthday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Lloyd's parents took him to see this and then go to the Nickelodeon and see the dancing squirrels.
They took him to see his first motorized car.
Something tells me that in the background this song was playing. And people were dancing with their arms swinging around.
When he went to go see this, it was only a nickel.
Yeah.
And it included some cartoon.
We got a hand raised. I think we're going to get
some Cole
NRA.
Porter before I got here.
We have an answer from Lou.
The National Recovery Administration.
All right.
What were they recovering?
Code of practice for the film industry during 33. The NRA code process publicly exposed resentful fissions within Hollywood and the oligarch, if not monopolistic way in which the major film studios had set up their vertically integrated consolidation of the motion picture industry in terms of production, distribution, and exhibition on a national scale.
Way too complicated.
Wow.
Super complicated, and my thought was
They were against it?
The long and antagonistic fashioning of the NRA's code of practice for the film industry. They publicly exposed resentful fissions within Hollywood. So yeah, I'm guessing so.
If it's all possible, I'm even more confused about what that means.
I'm actually wishing
this is a pre-code movie, so I'm figuring it ties in there.
Especially for the union-averse film industry, the NRA established collective bargaining. Though they supported it initially, the major studios would not long abide by the NRA.
Okay, that makes sense because
can you bumper sticker that for? I was going to repeat what Lou said originally, but he went on like 4 paragraphs.
It sounds like they're trying to expose things in the industry that really needed to be cleaned up, like he's saying, like the way they paid out the actors,
right?
The way that the movies were distributed throughout the nation, which was a big problem up until I think the 50s or 60s, before they broke the studio code and all that nonsense that they were doing. They'd sign an actor to a contract for a studio, and they were locked in at a certain cost for a certain price for like 30 movies.
Yep.
You know,
AKA Dwight Fry syndrome.
Yeah, you know, and then
or every female actress.
Right. And the studios would own the movie houses, much like they distribute them now. You have certain distributors that go to certain movie houses. Back then, it was the actual movie producers that own the movie houses, so you couldn't play movies from other studios.
Okay, because I noticed this on this film, not on the first 3 we talked about, not Mummy,
I never even heard of
Dracula,
this thing, so. And
it was also, we're going to talk later about Bride of Frankenstein. It is in the opening credits for that too.
I didn't notice.
It's a little bit different.
I didn't see it either.
On Invisible Man, it's like a full screen. Like it's the Universal logo, and then it goes right to this. And reading NRA, I'm like, what the fuck did the NRA have to do with this? Like, was the NRA even around in 1933? Yeah, really. You know,
Charlton Heston's at it again. He was only 40 back then.
Die, cop, die.
You damn dirty ape.
So, Lloyd, so we're in The Invisible Man, 1933. Released on your 6th birthday, and directed by James Whale. Lloyd, you got all your notes there. Why don't you give us the cast list? Why don't we go over the cast of this film?
That's an impressive bevy of notes that he has.
Lloyd doesn't fuck around.
No. I just copy-pasted a bunch of shit.
I don't know. That looks like a thesis.
I can't even read it. The printer was out of ink.
I had quotes written down. I don't know where the hell I put them.
I got quotes. Don't you worry. Do you want me to read my cast list? Is it harder for you to read it?
Do you need your other glasses?
No, I can get through it. All right, so just cast list. So Claude Rains as the Invisible Man.
The Invisible One.
The Invisible
as he's
One.
called in the credits.
Dr. Jack Griffin.
That's right.
Also known as. Yep. Yeah, he was in Adventures in Robin Hood. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Wolfman, Casablanca.
He is the police. As I watch Casablanca for John and I's prior podcasting adventure from the hip, I had to watch Casablanca, and Claude Rains plays. Claude Rains is the one at the end of the movie that Bogart says the famous line of, I think this is going to start of a beautiful friendship. He is the police inspector in that film. Yeah.
And also Lawrence of Arabia, which we talked about.
Oh, this guy was
pretty recently.
He was a pretty well-known stage
what brought
actor.
him into the spotlight. This movie here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it was definitely his big break.
And he's only seen once in the entire movie.
One time.
Which is why Karloff refused the role.
Yeah.
Right.
Karloff was in talks for it, And he kind of was like, not if you're not going to see my face, I don't want to.
Isn't it funny how we talked about in the Frankenstein episode how Karloff went from a nobody who got found in the commissary to suddenly being like, I will not be not seen in a film.
You need to see my face.
I'm Karloff.
Yeah. Also Colin Clive.
Yes.
Supposed to be. Who played Henry Frankenstein, and I guess he decided he wanted to go on vacation instead.
He wanted to go on vacation. Plus, I guess I was reading a little bit about him. He a crippling alcoholic too.
Oh well.
Yeah, he had some serious issues with.
You guys know something about that?
With the old bourbon. That's right. Pinto crippling alcoholics.
All right. So next in line, Gloria Stewart, who played Flora Cranley.
Flora,
which was his was it fiance?
His fiance, or if you want to just go by Universal horror movie, the hysterical woman role,
right? Yes. Well, not quite as hysterical as someone else. But you might know Gloria Stewart as the old woman in Titanic.
That's right. That's right. I knew the name. Right. I knew her name was Gloria Stewart. And as I was watching this the first time last month or whatever, after I watched it the next day, I was putting my notes together, and I'm like, Gloria Stewart, is that the old woman from Titanic who throws the rock in the ocean? And I look it up, and she's fucking 1997 that came out.
It's been 86 years.
I refuse to get off that door so that
young boy,
skinny little Jack, might have survived. The door was very large and quite warm.
But fuck him.
Because I was engaged to Billy Zane, and he's the Phantom. And bald. And gorgeous.
So, yes.
Next.
William Harrigan played Dr. Arthur Kemp.
Drinking game. I have a drinking game for this movie. Ready?
Okay,
I have a couple. First drinking game for this movie is every time the Invisible Man says, Kemp, you have to do a shot. You'll be dead by the 24-minute mark.
Known for Frankie and Johnny. I don't. Pretty old movie. I don't know it, but
I don't know it.
Henry Travers as Dr. Cranley. His claim to fame. Do you know?
No.
Anyone? No.
Nope.
I looked
he
it
was
up, but I don't remember.
The guardian angel, Clarence.
Oh, right.
And It's a Wonderful Life.
Yep.
Oh, I've never seen that movie.
That's right. That was one of my notes that I wrote down. That he was Clarence.
Just go to the Strand at Christmas time.
Do they play it
every year?
Yep.
I might want to do that because I've never seen it on the big screen.
I'll go.
It's a good movie.
I'll go. I'm not against seeing it. I just never have seen it.
Yeah. No, I've seen it. Yeah, I see it every Christmas. Just a little bit. Una O'Connor.
Man, if I was a young man in 1933 and I had to put my hands on something, Una O'Connor.
Throat.
Here, Una O'Connor, man.
See, all right, so she played Jenny Hall, who was the hysterical innkeeper's wife.
Yeah.
She's great. Right?
She's in this movie.
Yeah, very good. It was a great impression.
That was creepily good, by the way.
I was watching it. All right, just before you go on.
Yeah.
I believe that's the character that that all of the Monty Python guys got their Pepper Potts character from.
I think you're right.
Because that's basically what they do.
You might be absolutely right.
Yeah.
I'm watching it, I'm like, this is hysterical. This is exactly what they did in every one of their episodes.
She is.
Hello, Mrs. Premise.
Wow, you're almost channeling her. I'm kind of grossed out.
He won't stay another day. Yeah, see, you're much better.
Hey, I can't do it either. He knocked the food out of my hands, and then he swore at me. Yeah. Larry, you want to give it a shot?
No.
He threw Mr. Ho down the stairs.
He's got bandages all the way up his head.
He's a monster, he is.
Oh, you'll be the death of me. That poor man just wants to be left alone, and you forgot the mustard. The mustard was a big fucking deal in this movie.
I'm sure we'll get to it.
Big deal with the mustard.
I'm sure we'll get there, but that scene was a little nuts.
Yeah.
I love mustard. Never that important.
Yeah, no,
I loved it. I loved it.
I'm right in the middle of mustard, and yeah, nothing's that important. All right, who else we got?
Yeah, so she's good, and she will show up in another movie, which I liked her so much better.
I don't know.
I liked her in this movie, but to me, she was kind of this annoying hysterical woman.
She was pretty fucking annoying in the next one, too.
But so much better.
You know who else liked her? James Whale.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They said that he would be hysterical off camera.
Oh, my crazy dogs.
Oh, hi, guys. Hi. He would be hysterical off camera.
Crotch rub.
Every time she was on set.
Really?
Like, he thought she was just the funniest thing.
I didn't spend a lot of time looking her stuff up, but
she had a long career too.
I'm picturing she was like some kind of vaudevillian comedian.
Probably.
She very much plays it up to the camera.
Yeah, really over the top.
she looks into the camera.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see those moments where she actually like? It might have been more in Bride of Frankenstein, but she actually like breaks the fourth wall. A couple times.
Keep in mind when you
Pulls
get
a Zach Morris.
how he's directing these movies too. So he's not taking them completely seriously.
Oh, not this one especially.
Oh well, this one. Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah,
I'll get
go
to
ahead.
that.
This is the last
All right,
one.
a few more. Her husband was Forrester Harvey as Herbert Hall. That was her husband, the innkeeper. He was also in Wolfman. Dudley Diggs as chief detective. He's from the Maltese Falcon, you might know. E.E. Clive as Constable Jaffers. He was in David Copperfield and Pride and Prejudice. And the last one I'll get to is Dwight Fry, friend of the Pint.
Wait. Dwight Fry was an Invisible Man?
Oh, yeah.
I missed him totally.
He played a reporter.
Really?
Yep.
I know he's in Bride because I'm like, oh, Dwight Fry's back.
Yeah.
Well, there's somebody that's in both movies too that doesn't get a credit, and he had a long career in movies and TV.
Who?
So, John Carradine.
Who's John Carradine?
Was he in that? I know he's in the other.
Yeah,
Isn't he from Revenge of the Nerds?
That's his.
That's one of his kids.
That's Robert.
It was a joke. God damn it!
Well, no, but I didn't know if you knew that was actually.
I did.
Who does he play in Invisible? Do you remember?
It's a real bit part, and I think he maybe has one brief little line.
Oh,
he has
okay.
a much bigger scene in the next movie.
Okay, all right, all right.
So
that's our cast.
that's about it. Yeah,
Okay.
there's more, but those are the main players.
All right, Larry, you want to give us the idea of how this movie starts and what the whole idea behind this film is?
Well, it's based on H.G. Wells, right?
Yeah, right.
A guy dressed in a serious overcoat with a serious hat and some serious glasses.
Yeah.
Barges into a saloon.
The Lion's Head.
In the winter with
which made me think of the Slaughtered Lamb, of course, or American Werewolf in London.
Yeah, the winter scene was right in the beginning.
It was
pretty heavy
Yeah,
duty.
what was it, a mile away? Is it like a
Something like
mile
that.
to the end?
Yeah. He did a pretty good job getting there.
Yeah. He leaves the door open like he was raised in a barn.
I even put that in my notes. I'm like, fuck this guy, man. This guy never shuts a fucking door.
Right.
He comes in, he's yelling at everybody, and he won't shut the fucking door.
The best part of watching this movie was watching it last night and the first time with my wife, who's just reading but half paying attention. And I remember it from last night. She goes, "You didn't shut the fucking door." and then every scene that Flora ends up in, she goes, "Here goes Flora again." All right, so Larry, he pops into the Lion's Head.
Yep.
Doesn't shut the door.
Nope.
Everybody now. This guy's dressed like oddly.
Very odd.
He's wrapped in bandages. He's got sunglasses on. It's 1933. Sunglasses haven't even been fucking invented yet.
Right.
They're called day glasses.
They're get me a pair of day glasses.
That's a Briscoe County joke.
You'll
get it when you see it.
And you get the whole stereotypical, if there was a record player, the needle would have stopped.
Yeah.
Everybody just,
I know.
Staring. Again, it just really made me think of an American Werewolf in London, the scene when the two kids stumble into the slaughtered lamb. It makes me wonder if Landis
he must
kind of channeled that, because it's
did.
almost exactly the same. The whole thing.
It's more claustrophobic though, because the scene here. I mean, it's just such a tight little space.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you certainly don't have Mrs. Hall or Mrs.
No, you've got your what I guess were your typical Britishmen playing darts and
homemade darts, by the way. Those darts look like they were fucking
every guy in there
torpedoes.
looked like he was 65 years old.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
What are these guys doing?
65 years old, but could probably still beat the shit out.
Yeah.
Some tough old men. Everybody's drinking harps. Which did you notice that?
Yeah. I did. I did notice there was
also a bass ale.
She actually says bass ale at one point when she brings the dinner up to him.
Oh, does she?
So maybe it was bass. Maybe it wasn't harp. I don't know. Maybe it was.
There's
bass.
a bass ale sign on the wall.
Well, regardless, it's like. What was I going to say? Shit, never mind. Go ahead.
And all of their kegs are also marked whiskey.
Yeah.
Scotch whiskey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, not much on branding.
No,
really. It's just. I wonder if they had all sorts.
Yeah, I just I'd like a whiskey. Well, I'm looking for a Jameson. No, it's just whiskey.
Just whiskey.
It's just whiskey.
Just whiskey. And he wants what does he want? He wants a room and
he demands a room, right?
This motherfucker.
Yeah.
All right, let me tell you.
Well, we don't have any rooms.
Let's get into the character of Jack Griffin right away.
You want to jump right into this?
Let's just jump right into
He's a complicated man.
He is a complicated man.
I don't think he's that complicated.
No, he's just a dick.
He's a dick.
Yeah. This guy is like all-time cinema. If the AFI does 100 greatest dicks in cinema,
this is one of them. Yeah,
he is top 10 material.
Yeah.
He's not nice from the get-go.
Bossy, rude.
You need a lesson. I think I'll flog you.
Yeah. I like the fact he walks in to get the room.
Yeah.
He tells her he needs a room. She tells him, "We don't do rooms in this season." I want a room. Get it ready. Okay, I immediately change my mind. Cool. And I need a sitting room as well. And they bring him up. They get the room. They bring him up there. And
I love how the room they don't get rooms. It's not going to be ready for quite some time. It was like 3 minutes later.
Right.
Yeah. Completely fire's going, warm, toasty.
You got to remember at that point that movie in 1933, like rural England, 3 minutes is a long time. People were dying at 52,
I guess
of old age. So he gets in the room, and this is another one of my favorite parts is where. He's very secretive because, I'm going to hint it out here. He's fucking invisible. He doesn't want anybody to know. So, like, she wants to take his jacket, and he's like, "No, leave the jacket." But as she's walking on, he goes, "And bring me some food."
Right.
Yeah.
This motherfucker.
Not do you have food?
Right. Yeah.
May I have some? Sounds like someone we know with the fucking orders. But
so,
we forgot to talk about the fake piano player at the.
Yeah, the player piano.
Yeah, the guy playing the
what
player
was
piano.
the point of that?
I don't know.
Like,
Joe,
do you think everybody there doesn't know that it was a player piano?
I think Whale just has a weird sense of humor.
Yeah, it's funny sense of humor.
Just got a weird sense of humor and throws shit like that in his films.
There are so many funny, stupid lines in this movie.
Yep.
You almost have to say that.
I have I don't know if it's in my list. I printed out from the IMDb a list of quotes. I want to read a couple of them off. I don't know if it's in here. I will tell you my favorite line in the whole movie. I'll tell you later on.
Is it from Jaffers?
It's Jack Griffin. It's in the early part to when he's kind of the escape from the village. He says something that I don't fucking understand, but it just made me laugh out loud hard. All right, so he gets his room and he gets his food and
kind of gets his food.
Kind of gets his food because the lazy room girl doesn't give Jenny the mustard. Which
I need mustard on my toast.
He needs mustard.
You forgot the mustard.
The mustard is such a big fucking deal in this movie.
I love how she just barges in the room, though.
Yeah, she didn't knock. No, she just fucking
barges in the room. He's got no fucking lower head because he's invisible. She sees that and she doesn't really even say anything about that. She just sees the bandages, which she didn't really, I guess, catch the first time. So she
somehow
she opens the door and she's like, "I've got your mustard," and he's like, "Get the fuck out!" And she's just like, "But I've got your mustard.
It's mustard.
It's mustard." And he's like, "Well, this time's okay. It's mustard." So she goes.
Now go fetch my fucking bags.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the bags
again with the bags.
Yeah, I'll take the fucking mustard. Now go fetch my fucking bags.
I wanted to bring that up.
She's like, "Sir, it's 17 feet of snow outside."
we
well, then tomorrow then is fine.
It's a mile away.
We discussed this in the Dracula episode. That Renfield's entire concern in life was his baggage.
Yes,
and much like that, Griffin's is it Griffin or Griffith?
Oh, it's a good question. I think it was
I thought it was Griffin.
Griffin.
Yeah.
Griffin's entire world revolves on his bags. This makes sense because he's got
all his stuff.
He's got his sciencey shit.
He's trying to make himself visible again.
There's a lot of similarities between this and Dracula, and we'll get into. Well, I'll get into
them
as we get closer to where we're going. But
so
some weird.
Where the fuck are we going?
I don't know.
We're moving through the movie. So
popcorn on the screen here.
He ends up. That's okay.
That's why it's there.
I got it.
Let it freeze in there.
I'll eat it.
So he's there. He's upstairs. He gets interrupted for mustard, and she goes downstairs and she tells everybody because they're like this one big. It's a pub, so it's like a family, and he's got bandages, and he freaked out over mustard.
Yeah, didn't she like complain because he bitched at her so hard?
Yeah,
I think
she did.
Well, she tells her husband,
go up there and get him out.
Yeah,
he's not going to spend the night.
Yeah,
right. She wanted to throw him out.
She wanted to throw him out.
You got to mention though, when he drops when she brings the mustard, he drops a napkin. That's a great effect for 1930.
Oh no, the effects are great.
The effects are all great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
that much is
for 1933. They're actually pretty stupendous.
They would work today.
Oh yes.
That effect would work today.
Yeah. There's a couple scenes that I was like really impressed by. There's a couple scenes that as I was watching, I was like thinking, how did they do that? Like there's a scene later on in the movie where he's supposedly walking away with a pile of clothes.
Yes.
And to me, it's probably just a pile of clothes with a line
or something.
But it's so well done.
It's well done.
That I'm like, wow, how the fuck did they do that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they did a great job.
And part of it was part of the invisible effect was Lloyd. I think we talked about this. What did they do? They wrapped him in what? You remember this?
Shit, I
Black
forget.
Velvet.
You don't remember?
I have it written down
Velvet.
somewhere.
Black Velvet.
Oh, Black Velvet.
They
You're
wrapped
right.
him in Black
Right.
Velvet and filmed him against Black Velvet,
Yep.
which is very much like what they do in green screen
Right.
nowadays. So you could see this really awesome connection to stuff
It's
we're
amazing
using now.
when he unwraps himself, and you kind of feel the fullness, the roundness of it, and there's nothing in there, and it looks incredible.
Yeah,
It's a great job.
He,
it really is.
I thought I read somewhere where he got claustrophobic in that velvet suit.
Yes, I did read that.
Yeah.
Too.
Sure he
Yes,
did.
he got claustrophobic in the velvet suit and in the bandages, like on top of it and everything.
And it wasn't always him as well. They also had a taller actor with a more prominent nose.
that's he's very short.
Oh, really?
Claude Rains, is he?
He's very short.
Do we know how long they took to film this? I was wondering how long he was in.
I don't know.
I wonder,
No, that one I did not get like the production dates.
Yeah, I
on.
didn't see that.
just curious how long he was in the wraps and everything.
Yeah, Black Velvet versus Black Velvet background to achieve the invisibility effect. This is we talked based on the novel by H.G. Wells, and the screenplay is by R.C. Sheriff, a guy named R.C. Sheriff. The effects in this movie, if you like the effects in this movie, were done by a guy named John P. Fulton, and he is known his number one most known effect that he did in filmdom was the parting of the Red Sea.
Right.
In the Ten
That's a
Commandments.
great effect.
Oh, that's a great effect right there.
And that was what year was
59?
Was it 50?
Yeah,
in
mid
there?
50s
Yeah.
to late 50s.
Yeah, that's a great effect.
58, 59.
That still works.
The actual H.G. Wells novel is set in 1890. This movie is set in
it's a little
1933.
different
it
from the
is.
novel.
Okay.
Plus,
There was some weirdness with the movie I had in the beginning because it didn't really seem to be modern day. It looked like it might have been a little bit
It seemed
futuristic
earlier.
or sometimes
Yeah.
a little earlier because they're rolling around in carts. And then I couldn't figure out if it was the English countryside, the Scottish countryside, because the accents were all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
And
They're
then
all over.
somebody, I think, had a French accent or a German accent.
There's a lot going on.
And I'm like, where are we? I mean,
There's a lot going on.
We're in Europe, okay?
yeah, exactly.
We're in fucking Europe.
It
That's
was it was like being in Frankenstein where there was a nameless country.
Squirtsanavia.
It's just Wales.
another difference from the novel to the movie was Jack Griffin was insane in the novel before all this started, but in the movie the invisibility stuff sort of drove him insane as the movie went on.
But they don't really show.
They never
that.
show you, right?
Yeah.
You get the feeling that they probably wanted to, but I mean he's a fucking insufferable prick.
Oh,
He's
he
the
is.
worst there.
Right. Which
So,
you have
I mean,
no
he does
sympathy
get
for the guy.
worse. Once he kills his first
Oh,
person.
yeah.
He definitely
yeah.
goes into a tailspin and gets crazier. Especially, poor Kemp. Poor Kemp.
Kemp.
I want to. I
throttle
wanted to
you.
feel. I wanted to feel bad for Kemp, but don't you remember right at the beginning of the movie, he's hitting on fucking Griffin's
Oh, right.
fucking
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
girlfriend.
So
I'm like, fuck you,
Oh,
Kemp.
also Kemp doesn't die in the novel.
Oh, okay.
And-
He does not die.
okay.
And that's one of the things I wanted to bring up where the similarity with Dracula was. Kemp is just like the guy in Dracula where he's just all over the chick.
Yeah.
I mean, he is just terrible on this woman.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
He's
just-
like, right.
he's glued
I'm
to her.
so worried about
Yeah.
him.
Well, screw it.
let me tell you about my feelings.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Let's go out.
There's-
Come on.
we talked a little bit earlier about the universal horror woman that's fucking hysterical. And then you got to have the best friend who's honing in on her. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And he was awful.
He doesn't love you anymore. He's
Yeah.
crazy. He's a dickbag.
Yeah.
What a jerk off.
He wouldn't have turned invisible if he really loved you.
He just up and disappeared on you.
The only
Literally.
hint you get that Griffin might have been a good person before was the fact that Flora loves him so much. Because otherwise there's nothing.
Yeah.
And I think his was that his teacher, whoever it was, the other professor.
Yeah, it was
guy,
the older
his
professor.
boss.
spoke well
Right.
of him.
His
Yeah, his
mentor.
boss spoke well of him.
Because remember, this is another great line. I don't know if I have it here, and I'll paraphrase it because I don't have it. That one's not on here. Was Kemp and Griffin were the main scientist was the father.
Yep.
Kemp
Right.
and Griffin were his researchers and scientists, and they were working on like it was all stomach stuff. antacids and stuff like that. Yeah. And he actually says at one point, Kemp is saying to Flora about how straight scientists like me, not mad scientists, and he says, we were working on something good, something that would save, and the quote is something like, hundreds of stomach aches and maybe some deaths. I will have to actually get the line, but he says that. He says to Flora several times, real scientists.
Yeah, real scientists. Yeah, he was really big into that.
Because obviously Griffin is a mad scientist who is, who's touching on godlike things and making himself invisible. So we get to the point finally where Griffin decides to freak out on Una O'Connor's character, knocks her, because lunch is at 1, motherfucker. She comes to the door at lunch. He tells her to take a fucking hike. She's like, "You haven't paid your bill. Get out." He's like, "I'm not leaving." He smashes the tray out of her hand, and then he yells at her. He never swears at her, by the way, but she says he swears. She runs downstairs and has this fucking screaming fit.
Yeah. Oh
that
my
is
God.
that is
The
just the
henpecked
worst.
husband.
She sicks the husband on him.
Go up there, and I'm not even gonna try to do it. Go up there and kick him out. He goes up there, and this is where.
Hello, sir.
This is where Griffin's path to murder just gets kicked into overtime. He loses his fucking mind. He very slowly takes off all of his shit in front of everybody, showing everybody he's invisible.
You want to see me?
That was later when the constables came in.
Well, yeah, because he throws
that guy down the stairs,
which causes the next thing.
Right.
So she goes nuts and calls for the constable, and then in comes Jaffers. What's all this then?
What's all this?
I'm like, are you kidding me? Yeah. They're saying it then?
Yeah.
They were still saying it in the 70s. Like,
well, one of my favorite moments in that scene is when
what's all this then?
Is when he goes into the room and Griffin just gives him shit, and he's like, "Do you know who you're talking to?" And then Griffin just goes on like one of his like fucking lengthy soliloquies about how mad he is,
which was great. It was awesome because the guy. Jaffers, I think, was my favorite character in the movie. Just the lines he spills out are just insanely stupid.
Let's just get into it real quick. Here's a couple of the Invisible Man's lines. I was thinking as I watched this the second time.
Do his accent.
I'm going to try. That Jack Griffin, Invisible Man, would have been an awesome pro wrestler too, because he's got that whole hype effect. Like, I'll see you at Madison Square Garden next week, Macho Man. So here's possibly my favorite one when he's explaining his reign of terror to Kemp, because after he freaks out and he kidnaps Kemp, basically, we're skipping a little bit ahead, but he tells him, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. We'll begin with a reign of terror. A few murders here and there. Murders of great men. Murders of little men. Well, just to show we make no distinction, I might even wreck a train or two. Just these fingers around a signal man's throat. That's all.
That's all.
Like, what the fuck? And here's another one. An invisible man can rule the world. No one will see him come. Nobody will see him go. He can hear every secret. He can rob and wreck and kill. So the Monocaine is the compound, right, Larry? That he took to become invisible.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And they knew it was dangerous because it bleached a dog.
Right.
And it drove the dog.
And it drove the dog insane.
It drove the dog insane. The dog wouldn't eat its own shit, or whatever. However you know a dog's insane. The dog had a pile of perfectly good shit in front of him, and he refused to eat it.
And it was white.
It was white dog shit.
And all the dog lovers just spit.
Marbleized.
Nothing a little milk of the poppy won't cure.
Yeah. Oh, so the Monocaine is the secret ingredient that's making this motherfucker murder boner city.
Yeah.
So he ends up leaving the establishment. He jumps out of a window, I think, and he starts his reign of terror. The line I wanted to say was, as he's leaving the village, he jumps on a bicycle and he takes the bicycle.
Right. Yeah, you know what's great before you?
No.
What's so good is he narrates everything that he's doing.
He does.
It's so good.
Well, you can't see him do it, so
you can't see him do it. I mean, you can see a bike riding.
You
know he's riding the bike, but he goes, "Oh, I think I'll ride this bike.
I'll take this bike." He takes the bike. He rides it about fucking 26 feet away, and then he picks it up and he throws it at a bunch of villagers and goes, have your bike. Do what you may with it.
That was fantastic.
But the line that I loved was just this weird line where there's a guy running towards him, even though he's invisible, you can't tell. He picks up an old-timey broom, right? Like an old-timey stick with like hay on the end of it.
Yeah.
And he hits the guy in the head with it and he goes, "Here's a hairbrush for you, George Henry." Like, who the fuck is George Henry?
I'm sure it was a very topical thing to say then.
I don't know if that was the exact line in terms of like, here's a brush for you,
Yeah,
or here's a hairbrush, but then he goes, George Henry.
Oh, my favorite line was before that when he first makes his escape, and it's Jaffers again. How can I arrest a blooming shirt?
Yeah. Jaffers did have some.
That was
good
my
stuff.
favorite. That was my favorite line.
I loved it.
All right, Larry. So he gets away, and now he is terrorizing Kemp, right?
Yeah, he's trying to rope Kemp into his crazy.
Explain his plan. I just read it off, but he needs Kemp for what reason? Do you remember?
He needs somewhere to stay.
He needs a visible partner.
He needs an invisible partner.
Or a visible partner.
A visible partner.
Yeah, he needs a visible partner for some reason. Because, and then he goes through
Get
all
me
the
a
rules.
robe.
Yeah.
He goes through the rules. Do you remember any of the rules?
I don't remember any of
Lloyd, do you remember the rules?
No.
He can't. So if he's invisible,
there were rules, though.
He can't be seen an hour after eating because the food is not digested yet, and I can be seen by it. So matter of fact, even the smallest amount of dirt under my fingernails can let me someone see me. It's like, motherfucker, you think anybody on Earth would see like a little dirt floating around? They would just think it's a fucking in their eye or something.
Just imagine if he had schmegma.
Dirt leads to schmegma.
So he's roping fucking
Just
Kemp
for you, Larry.
into this, right?
Dirt leads to
schmegma.
Where has this gone?
Oh boy,
we have digressed.
You boys are nasty.
Nasty.
Oh.
Ow. Ow.
What do you think about it? There's a lot of really rude comments in this movie.
He's the main character is the rudest character in the history of fucking Earth.
I don't mean like rude as in go away, you ugly little bastard.
Right.
I mean like dirty. There are dirty comments in here. They're thinly veiled.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, thinly veiled. He rides a bike with no pants on.
Well, yeah.
I feel terrible for the guy. You know, it's like the guy gets his bike back and he's like, "Why does my banana seat smell like balls?"
It's got ball sack on it.
He brings up how many he's got to walk around naked all the time.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of wow. Okay.
Yeah,
and it's winter. So
yeah,
damn.
But I will give this guy credit. Okay, I'm going to give him credit where credit's due. Dracula is just evil because he's a vampire man. That's his nature.
Yep.
Frankenstein is not evil.
Not
he's
his
just
fault.
He's an uncontrolled monster. Ardeth Bay, the mummy, is just more into love than killing. He's like a hippie. He's like, I'd rather just make love, man. Yeah. This dude actually fucking kills.
He's
a bad dude.
He's a psychopath.
Out of four movies, this guy he's got the worst. Biggest body count.
Right.
Do you know what his body count was in this movie?
No, what was it?
Over 100.
Was it really?
When he wrecked the train.
He wrecked the train.
I think he killed 4 people on screen. And then he wrecks the train.
Dude,
he killed a whole bunch of search party people.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Let me ask you this. Anybody that watched it a little bit more recently again. The scene where he kills the cop that looks like Skipper from Gilligan's Island. Not Jaffers, but there's the other cop.
Hale.
Alan Hale. He knocks the guy down and he hits him in the head with the bench or that little stool.
Yeah.
That was, I don't think that was in any way, shape, or form a stunt or fake. If you watch it, he hits that fucking dude. I'm pretty sure that guy went home with a broken cheekbone.
Oh shit!
Because it looks fucking real.
There's a lot of things in there that look
I'm gonna check that
pretty
out again.
serious.
Yeah, check it out. It does not look like it was a comfortable effect.
Just because I like real violence.
Yeah.
I need to see that.
I'm gonna watch Faces of Death 1 through 7, and then watch fucking the Skipper get his face broken in by the Invisible Man. So he goes to Hale's house.
Time for Old Boy.
He tells Hale that he needs a couple things. He tells him like, this is how we're gonna run. I can't be seen naked with food in my belly.
Yeah,
or
dirt under the fingernails.
Dirt under the fingernails. He demands some pajamas because all evil geniuses need PJs.
Yep.
He wants some cigarettes because he likes to smoke. And he basically tells Hale that we're gonna get some sleep. Because we're gonna start murdering.
We got to rest up for the murdering we got to do.
He literally tells him, "You better go to bed now, Kemp, because we're gonna be killing some motherfuckers, and I'm not doing that with a half fucking tired partner."
Yeah.
Right. I'm rested. I'm in shape. I've been training for murder for the last 2 fucking years. I'm like an Olympian, and you're kind of fat. Your mustache is weak, and don't think I don't know that you want to fuck my girl.
And he makes it very clear. Don't fuck around or I will fucking kill you.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
That's perfectly clear.
Here's the thing about this movie, and again, we're gonna use 1933 brain. The Invisible Man's entire, captivity of Kemp relies on the fact that only if he's invisible does he really like pose a threat because you can't see where he is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
At no point does Kemp try to defend himself or knock this fucking guy out.
As soon as this guy's got fucking pajamas on, I'm fucking stabbing him through the fucking chest.
Absolutely.
There's a scene in the movie where
hey, I killed the invisible guy. Everybody come look.
Come get him. He's bleeding invisible blood. It's on my hands. There's a scene in the movie where they're in Kemp, by the way, for a guy who lives at home, he's a doctor, has a big fucking house.
That's a nice house.
That's a nice house. So they're in Kemp's study. I'll see you in the study, Kemp. They're in the study, and the Invisible Man is fully PJ'd. He's got the bandages. He's got Kemp's fucking awesome sunglasses. These fucking
with
things.
the side shields on.
The side shields. I don't even know.
Awesome.
Kemp got those at like Woodstock 32. Kemp went to Woodstock 32. He got stoned. He had sex with a girl in a porta potty. But in any case, at one point they're like he's kind of giving the rules to Kemp, and he's like, and don't forget, Kemp, all I have to do is start taking these clothes off and I could kill you. And it's like, it takes like 3 minutes to get undressed.
Yeah.
Like, what are you that worried about, Kemp?
I will fuck you up.
Kemp is a pussy.
Crazy little man.
Yeah. Oh, you know, because I said Kemp so many times, part of the drinking game, I wanted to go back to my other half of the drinking game, went to the earlier part of the movie, was when they were in the Lion's Head pub. And it only happens about 9 times in the pub, but every time they have to lift the counters.
Oh, the counters, yeah.
They have
How many fucking...
Oh, God.
It was like a bad game of Jenga. I was like, what the fuck? They have to move so much shit.
Just to get from one side to the other.
Yeah, I'm watching that, and that's where I'm thinking that James Whale has got that weird sense of humor. Because
I'm
there's
thinking,
no
I'm
reason
thinking, no
for
wonder
that.
that girl forgot the fucking mustard. She has to remember like the proper sequence to open the fucking shit to get out.
And they're just like lifting
half
her up,
doors
slamming
and
them
the
down,
lids.
you know, and the noise they make, it's so loud.
It's like a game. Like,
Yeah.
all right, which one do I have to open first so the other one opens?
Like if you had to do a shot for every time something had to be opened, there'd be at least 12 shots.
Yeah.
Because, okay, you do abandon it in the early part of the movie, but Una O'Connor goes through that shit 9 times.
And they open them and close them, too. They don't just leave
it's
them
like, why
open.
don't you just leave this fucking shit open? The Invisible Man leaves the door open. You can't leave your fucking counters open. You're going up to that room.
For a secretive guy, he should really learn how to shut a fucking door.
Yeah. He's pretty bad at being secretive.
No,
He's
mad, you see.
Yeah. He's bad at sciencing. He's bad at being a good boyfriend. He's great at murdering.
Yeah. He didn't even create the shit that made him invisible.
No.
So he is bad at science. Not only did he not create the shit that made him invisible, he can't create the shit to make him uninvisible.
Yeah,
Right.
He's
that bad.
Well, didn't he say he worked on the antidote, but he never got it right? Yeah. 2 years, Kemp, working on the antidote every night, and it's like, why did you take the shit if you weren't ready for it?
And meanwhile, Rose from the fucking Titanic is waiting for you. and Kemp is trying to fucking slide in. Kemp is fucking Jack.
That's right.
That's what it is. He's Hartley. The Invisible Man's Hartley, and Kemp is Jack.
Yeah,
and slide into Rose. Is it disconcerting that I know so many character names from the Titanic?
No, I enjoyed
all right.
Titanic.
Okay.
It's a movie I never have to see again, but it was a good movie.
Wow.
Wherever you are.
I never saw it.
I'm not singing that.
You never saw Titanic?
I never saw it.
How's that possible?
It's really not that bad.
It's
I'll be
an
honest with you,
absolute
It's pretty good.
attempt to avoid it.
I bet you, though, knowing what kind of a movie fan you are and what you appreciate in movies,
It's James Cameron.
I did see the end of it.
if you
though.
saw Titanic,
I will say that.
If you saw Titanic, take the story out of it, the love story.
Yeah.
The
I know how it
to
ends.
detail, but the attention to detail and the set design of that movie was
Incredible.
unfucking real.
Right. Plus,
he made
Kate
the
Winslet.
Titanic.
He made the Titanic.
He made the Titanic.
like 2
It's
of them, I
glorious.
think. There's
Yeah.
like a half sunk one, and then there's the one that can go up and down. And
Yeah.
I saw it in the theaters when it came out 20 years ago.
Me too.
I saw it on video maybe once, and then maybe one other time it was like on the NBC like 2-night movie.
Oh, I'm not going to lie. I've seen the motherfucker like 100
I
times.
think I saw it twice in the
yeah.
theaters.
I probably saw it twice in the theaters
Yeah.
too. My thing with it is it's so long. It's kind of a hard.
Yeah. What is it? 3 and a...
Three. It's
I've-
3.
I don't
three?
think I've ever, since the theater, seen it in full. It's one of those where if I'm flipping and it's there, I leave it on, so I usually catch like the last hour or
Right.
something.
Yeah.
It's a James Cameron. Can't go wrong.
Dude, the scene where they're
not
on
my thing.
the stern and it's going into the water.
Yeah.
And just all the effects of like you see
Yeah,
the
it's
people getting
fucked up.
sucked under and everything is.
I was rooting for the boat, I got to tell you.
Yeah.
It's like, get him, boat. Fuck all those people.
It was kind of a 50-50 win-loss. This is another one of my favorite Invisible Man quotes. It is actually in the scene where he first loses his mind when Jaffers comes in to arrest him. They've asked for it, the country bumpkins. This will give them a bit of a shock, something to write home about. A nice bedtime story for the kids, too, if they want it.
That's kind of funny because in my notes, before that scene ever came up, in my notes, I wrote country bumpkins.
Country bumpkins, yeah.
Because that's what every other character appears to be.
The other, this movie is filled with country bumpkins.
What's all this then?
What's all this then? So they're in Kemp's house. Kemp calls the father and Flora because he knows that they want to come see him. And he also secretly, with his Morse code telephone, calls the police and tells them that the Invisible Man, who everybody's looking for, the police, there's 5 scenes in this movie where the police are practicing dragnet techniques.
Yeah.
Where they're walking like, okay, everybody walk arm in arm and use the... And now Kemp calls them and tells them he's here. And the guy on the other end, the other cop goes, all right, well, we'll get it as soon as we can. I've only got 5 cops here with me. It's like, you got 5 guys with you. Everybody in the fucking county is looking for the Invisible Man, and this dude's telling you he's got him. Griffin realizes that Kemp has betrayed him when the cops show up, and he makes the coolest of all-time threats. Promises, actually, to somebody. What does he promise Kemp?
Well, he promises Kemp he's going to kill him.
But what is so special about the promise?
What are you getting at?
He is going to kill him at 10 o'clock.
Oh, 10 o'clock.
Tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Kemp, you betrayed me to the police. But that's okay, Kemp, because by tomorrow night, Wednesday at 10 p.m.,
o'clock.
I will kill you with my bare hands. And in the scene, skip ahead a little bit, in the scene where he actually does, the cops do this whole thing where they dress Kemp up like a cop, and they put him in a car, and they...
You'll be safe, don't worry.
They do the whole switcheroo, and as Kemp is driving away, he realizes that Griffin's in the back seat naked. and Griffin tells him, he's like, guess what time it is, Kemp? 10 p.m., motherfucker. I don't lie. And then he drags him out of the car by his fucking hanker scarf. I don't know what the fuck he's wearing. And he chokes him to death. And he chokes him, puts him in the back of the car.
And he pushes him over.
Pushes it over.
No, this was after he had already thrown some people searching for him, right?
Yes, he was throwing the searchers over.
I think he's like the original Arnold Schwarzenegger with the one-liners.
Oh, yeah.
He's like tossing dudes over the edge and spewing these lines.
Yeah. He's like,
I think I'll throw you over.
Would you like to see the bottom 2?
Now plane 0.
Don't bother my friend. He's dead tired. You're right. Claude Rains, I wonder
the
if
original.
I wonder if people in 1937 were going to see Claude Rains movies and going, "What do you think he's going to say in this one?" Stick around. So
I'll see you later.
See you later. Hey, Sully. Oh man. So Claude Rains is pretty fucking crazy in this. He murders a lot of people. He derails a train.
Yep.
That train scene is pretty good, again, for the time.
I'll tell you what. When I'm watching this, I'm like, what the fuck is there a lever for that makes the train go over a cliff?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, it's not even a switch.
Oh, you've never seen that before?
I think that was in every Western ever done back in those
it's the
days.
same lever that shows up in Bride of Frankenstein that only destroys the castle. There's a lever in Bride of Frankenstein that is only there to destroy the castle with fucking enough C4 to blow up a country. And I think that's I think when they
on-off switch.
I think when they engineered the train station, they were like, okay, this is where you so this is where you could change tracks here. Okay, that's the lever for changing tracks. What does this do? Okay,
don't do that one.
Yeah, this one here will
that kills 100 people.
This one here is just if you need emergency services, do this one here. And then what's this one? Don't touch that one. Okay, well, why not? If you pull that lever, it will derail the train right over the Borgos Pass over there. And no survivors.
The Borgos
Pass. And it's like, okay, just don't touch that. Don't touch that one.
But, they don't tape it off. Like you tape a wall switch. Oh, don't flip that switch on the wall. Switch. No, there's no tape over it.
No.
No signs, do not touch, danger. Just a lever.
All right, so someone bring us around now where we're at now. He's gone on a fucking complete murdering spree.
Yeah, he's
killed a shitload of people.
He's on a drunken murdering
How does this
spree.
thing come around?
Well, he goes in this guy's barn for a night to get some sleep.
That's right. He's big. This fucking guy is
finds a
huge
haystack.
on sleep.
Yeah.
I wonder if the Monocaine gave him diabetes.
Probably
or something.
It's probably all the pajamas.
Yeah.
Monocaine is a great name for a drug.
You got to be comfortable, man.
Yeah. Larry, do you own pajamas? Are you a pajama guy? And I'm not talking when I say pajamas, I have pajama-y type pants and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
For some reason, I
Lounge
picture you
pants.
in pajamas. Am I right or wrong?
You're like the button-up shirt.
Can you not picture Larry wearing like that?
Dick Van Dyke, you know.
No, not since I was a kid. I used to.
Yeah.
But now it's usually some Adidas shorts and a sleeveless T-shirt.
Okay. All right.
Silk pajamas.
My dad wore pajamas like
So did
up
mine.
until like in his 50s, and it was just like for me it was normal, but it was like I look back now and I'm like, God, look, he was in formal wear at night.
I have a couple pairs for like usually it's shorts. I'm usually hot.
Yeah.
But if it does get a little chilly, I got a couple pair of long like
flannel,
like Evil Dead ones. Some stuff like a couple pairs.
Do you have any normal clothes, Larry? Do you have like normal? I know at work you even
do you wear anything normal?
No, but I mean no, because I'm look at us. I mean, except for fucking Don Johnson over here.
Hey,
you've got.
I haven't worn this in a year.
You got a Johnny the Homicidal Maniac T-shirt, right? Is that who that is?
This is Happy Noodle Boy.
Okay,
but it's from that comic. Yeah.
Okay, I've got a Jaw shirt on. You know, you've got your but Larry in particular, you're known for your shirts and stuff.
Yeah. Love Larry's shirts.
Do you ever so at work even you get to wear some of that stuff? They're cool there, right? To an extent, like
I used to.
Okay.
I used to wear it more. And then one day the VP of first you got to know that I'm a manager.
Right.
So the VP of Human Resources was like, "Do you really think that's appropriate?" I wish I remember what it was.
Did you say yes?
I spit on your grave T-shirt.
But I was like, "Yeah,
yeah, I think it is
100%." And then like a couple days later, an email went out to the whole company, like, "Hey, let's just dial back the shirts with like semi-offensive stuff." And I looked at my Paul, who's my direct boss. I'm like, this is about me.
Yeah.
so yeah, I don't really wear them to work anymore.
No death cult shirts.
No.
So on a typical day though.
Typical day is they're always almost either a polo shirt or a button down. Long sleeve dress shirt. Never tucked in though. I don't tuck in a shirt.
Me too.
No, I have to at work, but
yeah. I mean, I'll tuck in if I have to, but I hate it. I wear shorts during the summer.
Yeah.
But sneakers.
All right. I still like picturing you in pajamas though, like straight up like navy blue pajamas,
smoking robe
with the white piping. So he gets his sleep right. He's at the dude. He's in the dude's barn.
So he goes
rolling around the hay.
He goes under the hay. Yeah, you see the hay moving
everywhere.
Rolling the hay. Roll.
Then the old farmer dude, he walks in and he's like poking around. He sees a little rustling in there and he starts poking it with the ass end of a hoe or something.
Yeah.
And he figures out who it is. He goes to the cops, tells them, "Hey, you're Invisible Man. He's in my barn."
Well, I've only got 26 officers here. I'm not going to send anybody out just yet.
And they decide to go in there, put a whole group of people around him and flush him out. And they give him $1,000. $1,000 if we get this guy.
That's
we're gonna burn down your barn,
right?
But we'll give you $1,000.
They like burning shit down in these movies. They're big on that's how you flush people out, is burning it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So they figure in their brilliance, we got to flush him out. There's no windows. He can't see out. We're gonna smoke him out. He's gonna come out. We're gonna see his footprints and just start shooting.
Do you remember what was weird about the footprints, Larry?
Yes.
Oh, they didn't look bare, right?
That's
they
right.
looked like shoes.
They were shoes. Shoe footprints.
I was like, oh, invisible shoes.
Yeah.
I was like, he couldn't figure out how to make himself re-visible, but just visible, not re-visible. Just visible.
I like revisible.
I do too. It's
revisible.
neat. But he figured out how to make his shoes invisible. Apparently. Yeah.
I remember
one
major flaw.
Yeah.
And
whatever.
Did they shoot him dead, or how did he?
Well, they do shoot him, right? And then they figure out where he is because there's a big.
There's a big lump in the snow.
Indentation in the snow, and they bring him back.
It's right there, the lump in the snow.
Yep. And then they bring him to, I guess, the hospital or something. They call Flora in, and
she cries and oh, Jack.
Yeah.
Oh, Jack. And then we get the only scene in the movie, right?
We get to see his face.
We get to see Claude Rains because as he dies, the actual cure is death.
Yep.
Right. First you see like a skull.
Yeah, it starts to kind of like form.
Yep.
Another good effect. I mean, again, this movie had some good effects.
Yeah, definitely that.
And he becomes revisible, as Larry would say.
Revisible.
And then, and much like all of these movies, it just fucking
ends right there.
There is a Universal Pictures release. It's over.
Yeah.
Yep.
So my initial thoughts on this movie are when I watched it. So before
you didn't like it the first time.
All right, so we're going to do thoughts all around the board.
We'll do thoughts, and then we'll do a couple more things. Yeah. So when I watched it the first time a month ago, this was the one out of all of them besides Creature from the Black Lagoon that I've been looking forward to the most.
Okay.
I was so let down the first time. I was like, because Lloyd had actually hit me up with a text earlier, and he's like, I watched Invisible Man. And I'm like, okay, what did you think? And he's like, it's goofy. He's like, it's goofy. That's the only way I could put it. It's kind of like the humor is off, and like it's kind of weird. So I watched it that night, and I fell asleep halfway through, and which is not unusual for me. And so the next day I watched the whole thing over again, and I walked away from it like kind of disappointed, and I'm glad we didn't record then. Because maybe it was time, and maybe it was the other viewing I did last night. But as I watched it again last night, I kind of appreciated it a lot more.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it a lot more. This movie has a really good cast.
Yep.
Everybody in this movie is memorable for the most part. Like, I mean, Claude Rains does this whole fucking movie. It's a voice.
Yeah.
He's a voice actor, essentially, in this movie.
Yep.
And
which is one thing H.G. Wells supposedly loved about him was how deep and strong his voice was, because he knew that he wasn't getting an actor for the first hour of the hour and 5-minute movie. He was getting a guy with a voice.
Right.
So
I mean, and when you finally get an actor, it's just a fucking corpse.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's not doing anything. But he was super strong. I mean, as much as we joke about it, Una O'Connor is etched into my memory now.
Yes, she is.
And it's just, again, it was a well put together thing. I think you're right. I think James Whale has a particular sense of humor.
Yep.
And so I don't know how I'd pack it up against the other ones. I still am leaning towards, out of the 4 we've watched so far, Frankenstein is still my favorite.
That's fair.
But I did enjoy The Mummy, right? But The Mummy, for me, I think we talked about in The Mummy Show, was not very horror-y.
No.
This
it's also very short.
This one goes back into, this is a horror movie.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, this is much more horrific.
This is probably the most horrorful of...
Probably, yeah.
Again, he killed over 100 people.
Yeah, this dude's a straight-up serial killer.
Right.
I mean, he's got a fucking itch for murder. Big time. John,
have we been rating?
We have not been rating. We've just kind of been... With this one, we've been kind of just like saying where they
kind of where they
stand,
fall.
Where they fall. So for me, Invisible Man, I would say, is right. It's Frankenstein, Invisible Man, Mummy, and then honestly Dracula. Dracula still... I still enjoyed a lot about it, but I'm still...
It doesn't hold up.
Doesn't hold up. Doesn't hold up. So, John, what were your thoughts on Invisible Man?
Oh God, it's been so long since I've seen it. Most of it wasn't. It didn't even come back to me. So it was like watching a whole new movie again.
Right.
And I loved it from the beginning, right to the end. I loved every minute of it. It's over the top, and that's what I love.
Yeah.
I mean, every character is over the top. The villain is your hero.
Yeah.
I love that. It completely flips the script for all these other movies that they've done. The acting is just impeccable. You gotta love it. And man, all the comedic elements, I just don't remember that as a kid, or I just completely missed them.
Probably, if you watch it when you were real young, you probably didn't get it.
Probably not.
Probably didn't get the comedy.
No.
Yeah. I mean, who would understand?
And I certainly don't remember him being that much of a murderer, but so that was kind of cool. I'm like, wow, this guy's really the villain.
Who wouldn't be a
super villain?
Who wouldn't be afraid of a pair of pants chasing you down the road singing just nuts in May, nuts in May, nuts in May?
From the get go, I mean, I always like to look at the cast, but here I am dipping into these guys and looking at their histories and how long of a career that all of these actors have had up to these movies. I mean, so many of them passed away early on, but a lot of them carried on to the 60s at least, which is nice to see. But a lot of them, like Claude Rains, had a big stage career. Yeah. So it's interesting. It's fun stuff. But
and apparently from what I read, really, really loved his role
in this.
Man.
Oh yeah,
one of the things I read,
treasured that he had been.
One of the things I read was that he, in like the 50s, took his
his daughter to see it. Right?
Yeah, tell the story. Tell the story.
Well, he took his daughter to see it and didn't expect anybody to really recognize him. He was telling his daughter like little story, like whispering stories to her, like as the movie was playing, and then realized that the whole theater had stopped watching and was just listening to him telling these stories.
Yeah, in Pennsylvania somewhere.
Wow, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. Supposedly, I mean, from what they say, he was a really, really nice guy.
Yeah.
Quite unlike his character in the film.
Yes, exactly.
He wasn't really a serial killer in real life or invisible in real life.
Yeah, and apparently, as an actor, he mentored a lot of people, or people felt that he was their mentor, and it's a pretty long list and interesting list of people.
I was looking through the rest of the DVD set, the Blu-ray set that we're doing this based off of, and after Wolfman is the Phantom of the Opera, the one that was made in the 40s or mid 40s, and Claude Rains is in that too.
Yeah.
which I didn't realize. So, Lloyd, before we get to Larry, we'll finish off with Larry. What were your thoughts?
Okay. For me, I thought going into this, I didn't really know what to think other than this is going to be like the high end of a horror movie.
Was it your first time?
Yeah, I don't remember ever seeing it before.
Yeah, but it was my first time, for sure.
I expected something like highbrow, so much better, and then I got this, and I'm like, this is just the fucking Three Stooges.
It's the strange brew of horror films.
The solo scenes where he was one-on-one with almost anybody were menacing. He was a menacing character.
Yeah.
When he was with Kemp or when he was with whatever the innkeeper dude, he was a very menacing person.
Mr. Hall.
But when it had a group of people, it was just fucking Three Stooges silliness going on,
Right.
and that kind of put me off a little bit. But after,
you're kind of right. The way he would say things,
cops bombing each other on the head with a stick.
Yeah, and he's like running around and make like goosing them and stuff.
So I wasn't impressed. I've seen it 3 times now because I watched it twice and then once again, and I like it a little more, but it still didn't elevate it all the way up there for me.
I got to be honest, as weird as it might sound, and I'm not trying to be like sentimentally weird, I think that these movies are all going to, like, in the future have replay value for me for the fact that we did this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
yeah. I bought the
adds
whole
a lot.
8 DVD set or Blu-ray set, and I'm happy I did.
I can
I'm really
actually
psyched.
picture going back and watching Dracula again.
Yeah.
All right, Larry, give us your thoughts on Invisible Man. Oh, so where does this lie in your in the 4 so far? Like,
it's up towards the top.
Towards the top.
Yeah, it's tough to beat out The Mummy because I love that movie so much, even though it's probably the weakest story-wise.
Yeah,
but it's just the imagery in The Mummy just beats.
I actually am like kind of jonesing to watch The Mummy again because all these movies they're all there's a quality to them all.
You could see the quality getting better and better.
Oh, yeah.
From each one.
Well, that'll
definitely
be a big part of the next episode.
Well, yeah,
there's a major quality shift.
Yeah.
There. Where would you put Invisible Man on your list?
I think for me it's Frankenstein, Mummy, maybe Dracula, Invisible Man, but those 2 can switch.
Okay. All right, Larry. So with you being the kind of like you're bringing this together. What is we keep asking this? What is your history with Invisible Man? Was this one that your dad introduced you to? Because we know your dad.
Actually, I don't. I remember the stuff I watched with my dad and the stuff I watched with my mom pretty well. I don't remember watching this with my parents. I remember watching this one alone.
Okay.
I don't think I ever saw this. I don't think this is one my parents introduced me to. I don't remember it being on TV like the other ones were. Like Frankenstein was always on when I was a kid. Dracula was on a lot. I don't remember this being on that often. Creature from the Black Lagoon was on all the fucking time.
You know, when you think about it, when Channel 30 used to do the 4 o'clock movie around here, this was probably the last one they would show.
Yeah.
It was always the creature feature, and the Invisible Man is less of a creature.
Right.
So
I don't
it
remember
didn't get
watching
into the
this
spin
one
too often.
Probably till I was like a late teenager.
Okay.
So
and did you like it from the beginning? Or
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Because I know on a lot of your emails that you send out for Cult Classics, you use a quote, right, from Invisible Man.
Yeah, I'll start with A Reign of Terror.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has always been a favorite of mine, the Universal films. It was definitely, especially if you go in order, definitely a huge step for them.
Yeah.
Going from, it was the first one that really introduced humor. Whether they meant to or
out humor.
Whether they meant to or not.
Yeah.
But I think they did. I think James Whale, like we said, had a very strange sense of humor. And like I mentioned at the beginning, what was her name? Una. I guess she was a stage actress, and he'd fallen in love with her watching her on stage. And it was just like, I got to get her in a movie, and would be hysterical off camera while she was doing scenes. Because he just loved her fucking zaniness so much that we'll be talking about her again
very soon
in the next episode.
I was reading up on her too, and I think O'Connor's a stage name. She's not even like Irish or anything. I gotta look it up again because I gotta figure that out. Because
she's a lot to take in.
Yes,
I was gonna say I think her family lineage is fucking harpy.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be if anybody makes the mistake of listening to this first and then watching, I wouldn't be surprised if they turn on the closed captioning when she's talking because sometimes she's so screechy and her accent's so thick you can't even understand her.
Oh yeah. I was getting fucking irritated last night.
I get it. But for me, I love The Invisible Man. I thought Claude Rains was genius. This is one of my favorites. If I have to rank what we've seen so far, it's going to be Frankenstein number 1. Invisible Man number 2, Dracula. No, Frankenstein,
Mummy and Dracula still.
Yeah, okay. Frankenstein, Invisible Man, Dracula Mummy. Mummy's still my least favorite.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Look at 4 different takes.
4 different takes, absolutely. But you know what? Again, like I said,
Personal choice, man.
These are all personal choices, and they've all been fun. They've all been fun to watch.
Oh, yeah,
it's been,
definitely that.
Brendan Fraser's Mummy, on the other hand, totally different story.
Yeah.
He loves Brendan Fraser.
So do I.
Yeah,
I absolutely.
I do
love
too.
that.
I really do.
I've rewatched that thing so many times.
Yeah.
Yeah, you even
Big
like
fan.
you even like the second one.
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
Yeah, the third one was the Scorpion King, right? That's bad.
Yeah,
the third
There
one
was the one with The Rock. though.
No,
Yeah.
the Scorpion King spun off, and then there was actually a third Mummy movie years later.
Yeah, which we
with
don't-
Jet Li.
we don't
Jet
discuss
Li
that.
was
Oh, I never saw
Jet
that.
Li was the
You know,
Mummy.
you know.
I love Jet Li.
It was one of those sequels, like let's say the Mummy came out in '99,
Yeah.
and then like the second one came out in 2001.
It's not good.
It came out like 2009. You know what I mean?
All
Like
right.
where they
So
did have
who
a
was
long-
not in it?
Rachel Weisz.
Rachel Weisz.
Rachel
There
Weisz.
had to be somebody
but
huge
they
not in it.
recasted her.
Yeah.
you
Who
can't
played
do
her?
it.
The
So hard
what's
to
her
do.
name?
Stupid to do. 'cause-
Yeah.
So hard to do that.
Maria, I can't think of her name right now. She was the wife in A History of Violence, and she's been in a bunch of stuff. But she plays the Rachel Weisz character.
Rachel Weisz was very attractive.
Yeah,
She was.
I had a crush on her in the first
Yeah,
Mummy. I was like, wow.
and she
and
has-
then by the second one, she looked smoking.
Yeah.
I was like, look
And
at you.
She had such a great personality for that movie.
Yeah,
It just
and Brendan Fraser was. Everybody
Everybody
perfect.
was,
That was a
yeah.
really,
Yeah.
really well done
Yeah.
movie. But so yeah, that
Anyway.
that Mummy I like. I like a lot. If I had to pick one
Getting
Mummy,
50
it would
years
be
ahead
that
of
one.
us.
Other instead of Universal's.
All right. So
strangely the very same story and plot. Just
Yeah, no, it
done
is.
Yeah.
much better. you
Yeah.
know?
as we discussed on the Mummy episode, the guy, what was his name? Odeth
Bay.
Odeth Bay.
Ardeth Bay.
Ardeth Bay.
Yeah, sorry.
Is a character name, and then
Yeah.
and all that. So
That's great.
yeah,
That's
it is
great
great.
how they did that.
You know what?
Yeah.
That's something that maybe we'll watch like the Brendan Fraser Mummy and do that. Maybe we'll pull that into Larry's horror stuff
Yeah,
too.
I'll do
Even though
that.
it's lighter horror.
Do we have to watch the Tom Cruise one too? While we're at it?
No, please no.
I'll be honest. I
Not-
watched
not
that. I
again.
didn't hate it. I
I
didn't hate
didn't
it.
watch it. I didn't watch it.
But-
You're not missing anything.
I didn't hate it, but I understand where it sunk that whole
Yeah.
dark universe.
What a shame too.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
so excited for
Because the
that.
girl who plays the Mummy, I love her and
She's
everything
great.
else.
Yeah.
Sophia.
Viraga.
No,
No,
she's.
no,
did you ever see Kingsman?
No.
Okay. Did
Yeah,
you ever see? She was in.
She's the one with the blades.
Yeah.
the
In
Blade
Kingsman?
Legs,
Yeah.
and
Oh, she was in something.
she was in Star Trek Beyond. She was.
Oh, she was.
She was at
She was in that shitty Hotel Artemis or whatever it was called with Jodie
Oh,
Foster.
was that bad?
It was not good.
Oh,
Yeah.
I never saw that yet.
It wasn't shitty. It was a letdown. You know what I mean? So it falls into the shitty category because it wasn't worth watching.
That's a shame.
Yeah, but she was in that.
That's her in who plays the big like,
Dave Bautista.
Batista.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right. That's a shame. I wanted to
Charlie
see that.
Day's in it. I love him.
There's a lot of good people in it. It
There was a
just-
lot
it
of good
just
people.
doesn't work.
Jeff Goldblum is in it. It just you're right.
Oh,
it does
God, I
not
forgot
work.
about that. Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum plays like the crime boss of the town.
Yeah, I remember.
The idea of it is really cool.
Yep.
It's just none of it is good. It just does not come together.
That's a shame.
But Sophia Boutella. That's her name.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She plays the Mummy in the Mummy movie, and she's pretty good in it. She's known for. She's not a martial artist, but she moves.
She's a dancer.
She's a dancer. She's got some crazy moves. In Kingsman,
Yep.
which is a really cool movie you should check out, she plays a character who has these like, you know those fake legs that are like rubber, not
Yeah.
rubber, metal bows.
Yeah.
She has those, but they're blades and weapons.
They're
It's a
actual
James
blades.
it's James Bondian
Okay.
type thing.
Yeah.
I'll check
All
that
right.
out.
So for
It's
Pint of
fun.
Comics, we will talk to you soon. We're going to talk about The Bride of Frankenstein next. Larry, thanks for coming, for always. And Larry, at the end of every episode, we say see ya. Why don't you do us the favor this time?
Right now?
Right now.
All right. See ya.
It's over, Johnny. It's over! Nothing is over! Nothing! You just don't turn it off!